Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football. This is our draft prospect show, and joining me today, obviously, is Vincent Turner, our co-founder and producer, engineer. He does everything. He's he's the co-host and voice of 100 Yards of Football. Logan Landers is our producer and engineer, and he is behind the scenes for us. And today, if you can see by the pictures, we're going to be looking at a wide receiver out of Colorado State University, Tory Horton, and we get to talk about a guy that had a monster junior year, Vincent, and then he comes out this year. He's going to be declared eligible for the NFL draft and had a great career at Colorado State University, a real difference maker.
A very exciting football player out of Fresno, California, Washington Union High School, the same high school Deshaun Stevenson, who went on and played 11 years in the NBA. He's got a little bit of Xavier Worthy, who played at Texas, who had an outstanding game with the Kansas City Chiefs, is from the same area he's from. But today we got a special wide receiver. Even though he had a down year this year, he's still rated a day 2 prospect, and a lot of NFL scouts love him. But what I love about him, he went to Colorado State, and our host, who we know as Clark Kent, is trying to smile today, knowing that he's proud of this young man representing Colorado State. And what I like about Mr. Horton is that I'll go back to last year, the game against Colorado. He gave Travis Hunter, before Travis Hunter got hurt in that game, he gave Travis Hunter the business, as we say, back in the hood. Back to you, Harp, about your young man from Colorado State representing the Rams today.
Well, I'll begin and end with Go Rams, and we're going to thank Tory Horton. You know, you mentioned that he was from Fresno, and he follows Jay Norville, the coach who had really originally wanted him to play at Nevada. And when Coach Norville ends up going to Colorado State, Tory wanted to follow it and be a part of the program. And the Ram Nation is certainly glad that they did. He stands at 6'1", even though he's been listed at 6'3". It's been verified at 6'1", about 185 pounds, give or take. He's a little lean, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but he's got great moves. He can get up the field. He has the ability to go catch that 50-50 ball. You know, he's got some skill set right now that any team would be interested in having. He's not your number one guy yet. He might be someday, but he's definitely a complementary wide receiver who's going to help with bubble screens. He's going to help with your slot positioning. He's going to help with some routes that you need everybody to be able to run, and he can do so efficiently. We're going to talk about him right now. We already broke him down at 6'1", 187 pounds, 185, give or take. That number will need to change, Vincent, if I can say so myself. But his statistics from this past season, 26 receptions, 353 yards. He averaged 13.6 yards per reception, only had 1 touchdown before he got injured. And Vincent, that I think is the biggest issue right now. It was kind of undisclosed, but it was a knee injury, and it kept him out for the remaining portion of the year. So he missed at least 5 or 6 games because of that. And that means that he's damaged goods right now. So he may have to really show some extra work at the combine or in some of those private workouts that he has to make sure he's back from that injury and that he can match up to the numbers like what he had when he was a junior. Let me give you the 2023 numbers: 96 receptions, 1,136 yards, 11.8 yards every time he touched the ball. He had 8 touchdowns for the Rams back in 2023. Vincent, this is a guy that can be a great game breaker, at least at the college level, and people are hoping that he can do that at the pro level as well.
I'm going to be very interested in how he does at the combine next week as far as his skills, but also his speed. But when you're looking at a young man, I'm looking at a guy explosive off the line of scrimmage. Go back to his 2023 film. Explosive off the line of scrimmage. Got great footwork as a wide receiver. But what I like about him most of all, and you just brought it, Harp, if he gets a little weight on him, oh, man, I think this guy's going to be a player at the next level. He plays bigger than his size. And, man, he's got a little bit, I want to say, Ernest Gray, who played with the New York Giants, who played at Memphis State. He got a little bit of Mike Sherrod, who played at UCLA. They went with the Dallas Cowboys in the first round. Remember, Mike Sherrod was a very explosive player before he got hurt at Dallas. Then he got a little bit of Anthony Hancock, got a little bit of Corn Robinson in him. James Lofton, as far as route running ability. That's right. I'm giving him that type of love today. And he got some John Stallworth that play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not only does this young man has a lot of skill, but I think he's going to be a very productive football player, and I love him. I don't like him. I love him. I don't love him because he went to Colorado State, your same school, Hop. I love him as a football player. And I go back to last year, national televised game against Colorado. Travis Hunter, before Travis Hunter got hurt, I believe in the second quarter, Travis Hunter could not handle him man to man. This gentleman right here is going to represent Colorado State really, really well at the next level. Back to you, Hop.
Yeah, one of the things that he does that kind of sticks out is that he holds his hands real high, just under his chin. They're up by his shoulders at the snap of the ball. There are a lot of guys that put their hands down on their knee. There used to be a day when Michael Irvin and everybody at the U had a three-point stance that they were in. But the reason that he does this, it allows him to have his hands already in position. If he gets bumped or if a defensive back tries to play press on him and try to stop him at the line of scrimmage, he has the ability to kind of fend off that type of hand attack that a defensive back would offer to him. So I think that's pretty savvy in the way that he does it. And most people end up running with their hands up by their, it's called ear to rear, where you go from your ear, or you have your thumb almost by where your head is, and then you go down by where your butt is. And that's a great track positioning, for a really good alignment. So he's closer to getting that than some guys are where their hands are in different spots. So in milliseconds of time, it allows him to get to full speed. He's kind of twitchy. He's fluid, is what some people say. I think he has long strides for his height, long strides, but he can break down and change direction as good as anybody, even though he has long strides. So that's something that I think that'll be advantageous for him as well. He's played in the X and the slot, so he's been on the ball. He's also been off it in the slot. He can find a zone spot very quickly. That's one of the features about what he does, being able to settle and find his spot in between a linebacker and some safeties to get the ball, basically to move the ball downfield. He's done a great job of that. Even though he's lean and skinny, Vincent, he's not afraid to go over the middle. A lot of his catches are within traffic, and he doesn't have drops in that area. So that's a real plus for him as well. Plus, he catches with his hands. A lot of guys will catch with their shoulders in positions like that. He has definitely taken advantage of that. There are some weaknesses that he has. He needs to add some some strength, and add some extra weight. He's not a great run blocker. He will block, though, but he's just not as strong as some of these other guys. Getting in the weight room, preparing for the combine will definitely have advantages for him as he grows and continues to mature as a player. There's also some criticism that people haven't seen a full route tree. Like, he'll run the bubble screen, he'll run a hitch route, he runs some skinny posts, but we don't know what he's going to be able to do on a post corner. We don't know what he's going to do about a square in. On most occasions, he wasn't asked to do a lot of that. So his development as a receiver will need to grow in terms of being able to fit into any type of offensive coordinator's playbook. Those are some things that I think that can easily be addressed, especially, once he's drafted and he gets into a situation where he's meeting with an offensive coordinator or wide receiver coach 4 or 5 days a week before the season starts.
Creative after the catch. He's a very, very special football player to me. And I go back to the Colorado game, not the 2024 game, the 2023 game.
Yep.
16 receptions, 133 yards, 1 touchdown. He averaged almost 12 yards a catch. And to me, at the time, you playing against the best of the best, Travis Hunter, at the time, Shiloh Sanders. You playing against a secondary that Deion Sanders had his handprint on. And this young man made them look like I was at home last week, that good barbecue Chester Turner was cooking down there in the 901 Memphis, Tennessee. This gentleman right here, I'm going to say it one more time, I love him as a football player. And if he runs a good time in the combine next week, I wouldn't be surprised he becomes drafted at the top of the second round and maybe in the bottom of the first round. because he's got everything you need to be a receiver at the next level, to play at a high level. The only thing my worry, he needs to gain some more weight. He's got to be bigger than 185. This is a very excellent football player. Kudos to the Colorado State Rams. Back to you today, Mr. Harper LaBelle.
Well, he was the Mountain West first team offense for 2022 and 23. One of the issues that he can't overcome in terms of, it just happens, it's a part of his history, is he did get hurt and he missed a few games. So that's going to be something that, how do you come back from that? Whether or not he runs a great time at the combine really will have a definitive forecast for him in terms of he's back. We can trust that his knee is okay and that he's ready to go. That's one of the most important things that any team would want to invest in you on. So with that being said, we hope that Tory has a great offseason and the time to prepare and get ready for his National Football League career. There are some top-level receivers, and he's right there with the bottom rung of that. Not a Tier 1 guy, but definitely a solid Tier 2 and way up in position to take advantage of that. So we wish Tory Horton the best of luck. That's 6'1", 185-pound wide receiver out of Colorado State. So for Logan Landers, our producer and engineer, for Vincent Turner, our founder and co-host here today, I'm Harper LaBelle saying thank you for tuning in to 100 Yards of Football today, folks. This has been our Draft Prospects edition. We've been looking at Tory Horton, a receiver from Colorado State University. Have a fantastic day, everybody.